Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Miracle Room. Appreciate you all showing up. So, as always, we're going to start with a moment of diving inward. We invite you to put your video on if you like. I'd love to see you all today. Thank you. So let's take a breath together. And the word I'm hearing at the moment is dropping in. So each of us has a quiet place inside our heart. We tend to get scattered by going out into the world with our thoughts and our activities. But at this moment, we're going to come to a sacred place in our heart, which I call the temple of the heart, or the healing chamber. And this space is quiet. It's not subject to the winds of outer change. It's not at the effect of anybody else's activities or actions. And so, however you know how to drop into your quiet place, please do that. If you have a mantra or a vision, or just tapping into the vibration. Peace, be still. Peace, be still. Peace, be still. And so now we're all in the same room together. I don't just mean the Zoom room, I mean the heart room. And from this quiet place we begin, and our clarity and connection guides everything we do during the coming hour. And so it is. Thank you. So there's a really cool phrase from A Course in Miracles that I want to. Miracles supply a lack, and those who temporarily have give to those who temporarily have not. Now, the key phrase here is temporarily, and it means that we all go in and out of higher consciousness. We bounce back and forth from openness to closeness, from love to fear, from connection to disconnection. And when we're in a connection state, we're in the perfect position to provide for others who are disconnected. And tomorrow it might change. Tomorrow you might be disconnected and I might be disconnected. But there's this wonderful system of walking up a mountain holding hands. And those who tend to slide back are upheld by those who are moving forward. And that's a form of grace, isn't it? It means that you are never outside of being able to be helped, and you're also in a position to help. So let me give you two fun examples. So many years ago, I needed some photos for a promotional campaign. I have a friend named Nikki who's a really gifted photographer. And so I asked her if she'd come over and do a shoot, and she said, sure. So she came to my house. We spent an afternoon. She just came up with some wonderful, wonderful photos. And I said, how much do I owe you? And she said, well, I know she gets paid a lot. She's a very high paid wedding photographer mostly. And she said, well, that's all right. You're my friend. It's a gift. And I argued with her, but she said, no, I really want to gift it to you. Okay. But I still felt kind of guilty owing, like, she did something really nice to me. I'd like to do something nice for her. And it was in the back of my mind for years. And years later, I did a program on prosperity on the island of Molokai. And she said, I'd like to come, but I haven't been working lately. So I said, well, let me gift you the program. She said, fine, thank you. So what goes around comes around. At one time, she was in a position to give a miracle. And the next time I was in a position to gift a miracle. So it's a wonderful system. I'll tell you one more story. So when I was in Japan a couple of months ago, a year ago, um, a fellow, one of my students there, invited me to be a guest on his YouTube show to do a recording for that. So we made an appointment to meet at my hotel after I was done coaching for the day. And I was tired. I went out to eat before I was supposed to meet him, and I completely forgot about the meeting. And I came back like an hour after we were supposed to meet, and the guy's sitting in the hallway waiting for me. I felt terrible. I said, I'm so sorry. He said, that's all right. No problem. No problem. No problem. He's very kind about it. And he just forgave me. I'm glad you're here. And we went and we did the interview. And at the end, he said, oh my God. He said, I had the recording setting off. It didn't record properly. Is there any way we could record again? I said, sure, no problem. So this is an even better example than a Nikki example because what he gave me when I was late was forgiveness. He performed a miracle for me by forgiving me. And then when he messed up, I performed a miracle for him by forgiving him. So, we all mess up and we're all in a position to forgive. Now let's apply this to intimate relationships. So, if you're married or in a partnership of any kind, you kind of take turns being centered and not being centered. And so my teacher Hilda used to perform weddings until one couple was married for only 3 days, and then she didn't perform weddings anyway. She blew off weddings, and she said, but her wedding vow was never fight on the same day. And she said, you be upset on Monday and you be upset on Tuesday, but you both don't want to get to be upset on the same day. And it was kind of a joke, but there's wisdom in it. Because if one person is clear and the other person is not clear, then the person who's clear is in a position to hold the space for both of you. It's only when two people are simultaneously upset that you're in for big trouble. And if you've had any big fights in your marriage, you know how this works. So if one person can remain clear, then you head off a fight. And this is the meaning of the Zen phrase, what is the sound of one hand clapping? Because one hand clapping doesn't make a sound, but two hands clapping make a big sound. And that's what happens when people fight. So each of us has a responsibility to be the faith keeper. In other words, we have to be in a position to perform a miracle when somebody else isn't. And I saw a wonderful interview many years ago with Bill Moyer and a Native American named Oren Lyon. He was an Onondaga tribe in New York. And Bill Moyer asked him, what does the faith keeper mean? He says, well, it's a position I hold in the tribe. And he said, I have to be the one who holds the faith no matter what anybody else is doing. So if there's famine, if there's warfare, if there's adverse weather, says, and everybody else freaks out, they're getting upset and going crazy. Says, I have to be the one guy who cannot afford to go crazy. Now, that's the position you have to be in now. It's a pretty crazy time on earth, in case you hadn't noticed. A lot of very weird things going on. So we need a few people to be faith keepers. So a lot of you in coaching complained about your crazy family, got it? So you need to be the faith keeper in your crazy family, especially on Thanksgiving. or Christmas, when you get together and people like get very weird, you have to be the one who's holding the space for the rest of the group, or at least for yourself. We go to the office and people are gossiping about politics. You can't afford to get involved. Or you have a weird headline about war or some new disease. You have to be the one who's hold. When COVID was going around, there was a small group of people who held space for the planet. Most people going crazy and freaking out, but there was a small group was holding space, and that was us. So Gandhi said that the pure love of one person can offset the fear of thousands. So that's our opportunity, and that's our responsibility. Now, I'll say one more thing, then we'll take hands. So there's a faith keeper inside of you. In other words, we have different aspects to our mind. We know this from all of our conversations in this miracle room, that the ego is going on, blah, 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 blah. And yet there's another space inside you called the Holy Spirit or the Spirit that does not go there. And so what we have to learn to do is to find the faith keeper inside of us. In other words, we just talked interpersonally, we have to be the faith keeper for the planet or your family or your job. But intrapersonally, there's a faith keeper inside of you. There's a miracle worker inside you that is capable of holding space and working miracles even while the ego goes on its rant. So should you get upset today or this week or any time, I invite you to take a breath and go to the miracle worker inside. Let's all do that. Now close your eyes for just a moment and then we'll take hands. So close your eyes and take a breath. And I want you to think of something that's bugging you. A relationship, a financial issue, a health issue. And if you've even thought of that as a problem, that's the ego. That's the fear-based part of your mind that is not connected to faith. And it goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on. And now, at the very same time, there is someone inside you, another voice, another mind, another consciousness that is not at all disturbed by that situation. There is someone sitting inside you like a guru or a healer or a master that is utterly quiet, utterly clear, utterly content. And the faith keeper is perfectly alive at this very moment. So go to the faith keeper, go to the miracle worker inside you, and ask it, what would you have me know? What does the faith keeper want me to know at this moment? And now we'll take it one step further. I want you to become the faith keeper, become the guru, become the miracle worker, sit in his or her shoes, sit where he or she is sitting. And now it's, what do I know? What do you know as the faith keeper, as a miracle worker? So what we're doing now is we're having an identity shift from the ego to the spirit, from the fear base to the love base, from the one who's outside of knowing to the one who comes from knowing. And I want you to drop into this. So now you're identified with wholeness instead of brokenness or fragmentation in any way. And this is why you came to this meeting today. And this is why you came to your spiritual path. And this is why you came to your life. To remember what you really know and who you truly are. And so it is.